in last class we have discussed about autotrophic nutrition, and now we are discussing about heterotrophic nutrition. So heterotrophic nutrition has three modes according to it. Right? There are many other modes. So whenever an or any organism is dependent upon the on other organism for their food needs, it should be called as heterotrophic nutrition. In NCERT we have given three type of nutrition: parasitic, saprophytic, holozoic, the main three. There are many other symbiotic, right? There are many other insectivorous plants that gets their nutrition by heterotrophic mode of nutrition. They're scavengers, but now we have to discuss only three modes. Number one is parasitic mode. A very smaller part of this is given. And when in a parasitic mode of nutrition, an organism is completely dependent upon other organism for their food needs. The one who requires food is called parasite, and the organism on which it depends is called as host. Example: Cuscuta, tapeworm, liver fluke. Tapeworm and liver fluke. Cuscuta is a plant parasite, and you might have seen a light green colored net formed on other plants. That is actually a root of a plant. Then second is tapeworm and liver fluke. They are the parasite of the intestine, and they might be formed due to food poisoning, and also in the child gut it may be found. Then there might be a reason of severe diarrhea. Then tapeworm, liver fluke, cuscuta, and also some of the parasites that used to live outside the body, that is lice, leech you might have seen in rainy season, and then lice, that is जुएं होती है वो, that ticks also, that's present in some plantlets, some plant roots, and there are many other examples of parasitic mode. The second type is saprophytic mode of nutrition. Saprophytic mode of nutrition is a type where plant where a plant or any animal that is get dependent upon the food needs for on the dead and decay plant or animal material. Dead and decay plant and animal. And if we talk about the example, that is fungus, mushroom, they all are example of this. Now what they do, this fungus and mushroom actually don't take the nutrition by biting or grinding any food by taking it in, but actually they just absorb the nutrition that is present in the plant and animal, because सोख लेते हैं जो भी nutrition होता है, whatever the proteins, carbohydrate, fat that is present in the plant dead animal, dead plant material, they just suck it. So that is the saprophytic mode of nutrition in fungus. Then the third type that we have to discuss that in detail is holozoic nutrition. What happens in holozoic nutrition? First of all, there is a requirement that food should be taken in a solid form. Then second thing, there should be a mouth-like cavity. And third thing, for a holozoic nutrition, that food should be broken down inside. Food should be broken down inside. So inside it will be broken down. Okay. So these are the three modes of nutrition. Let's just discuss that part, holozoic nutrition, in detail. So number one, holozoic nutrition. Majorly we used to read about the human digestive system, human nutrition, and the human beings. But there are many examples of the unicellular also. In unicellular, if we see the holozoic nutrition, so we have with we are with two examples. Number one, amoeba. Number second, paramecium. So both of them are unicellular. Both of them are unicellular, and both of them are going to do the holozoic nutrition. But one is having a regular shape and one is having a regular definite shape. So there is a difference in both of them. How? So amoeba, if we see, it's a pond protozoan. When any food or any insect come nearby it, This irregular cell, because they are having their body is made up of only single cell, so this irregular cell have to change its shape accordingly. So if it is food particle, it is going to form, amoeba is going to form something to capture it, so its structure should be mold according to it. So it forms a mouth like structure that calls feet or pseudopodia. To capture the food and take it inside, just like we are having the limbs. Amoeba cannot have the limbs, so they just capture the food by making the false feet. Now, inside, to take it inside, they just have to fuse these pseudopodia. They just have to fuse these pseudopodia and take that food inside. Fusion of pseudopodia. Then next, afterwards, what happens? The food gets stored inside the food vacuole, and here it also break it down. फूड वैक्यूल में डाइजेशन होगा, बिकॉज यही तो शर्त थी होलोजोइक न्यूट्रिशन की, दैट फूड शुड बी टेकन इन एंड देन इट इज डाइजेस्टेड इनसाइड. तो वेयर इट इज गोइंग टू डाइजेस्ट, फॉर डाइजेशन इट विल गो इनटू food vacuole, store and digest. After digestion, there will be waste material that is left that have to be excreted out. So again, it is going to form pseudopodia so that waste can be excreted out, and egestion of the waste takes place. Okay, egestion of the waste takes place. So that's how unicellular organism like amoeba digests its food. Now I am giving another example of paramecium. Now paramecium are having, they are also unicellular. They are also unicellular, but they are having definite shape. Many times that question has been asked in many competitive exam also, that a slipper shaped cell. Slipper means सोने वाला नहीं, slipper means चप्पल की shape का. These are those like organism. It also have some hair. These hair-like structure on their body is called as cilia. So the cilia, whenever any food particle coming inside or nearby it, these cilia here provide the hair-like movement to enter inside a mouth-like cavity that is already present in it. That is cytopharynx. They have a rigid mouth cavity. They need not to form it again and again. They have a rigid mouth-like cavity called a cytopharynx. Then these cilia move or direct the movement of food whenever it is required. They direct the movement of any insect or food inside this cavity. And they also store this and digest it in a food vacuole, and then it digested. When the food get digested, they also excrete it. So this is the mode of nutrition in unicellular organism. Holozoic mode of nutrition we have seen. Now let's just see the holozoic mode of nutrition in animals through a diagram. I have to make the diagram in two parts so that we can discuss it in a very enlarged way. So in 7th class, you have just studied that nutrition consists of 5 parts. It includes digestion. Digestion inside a human body starts with mouth, and ingestion also takes place in the mouth. First step of any digestion or any nutrition process will be ingestion. Okay, so in a holozoic mode of nutrition, first step always will be ingestion. First step will be ingestion. Second step that we will see is the digestion, and Third step is absorption, fourth is assimilation, and fifth, last but not the least, that is digestion. Now all have different meaning, and we'll see how and where the process is started and processes become over. So in a human digestive system, first let's give me the gist of the process. Uh, that process of digestion in human beings include alimentary canal. The alimentary canal includes the digestive organ and the digestive glands. Digestive organ includes mouth, from where the ingestion starts. Then then digestion that starts from the mouth. Then esophagus, then stomach, then small intestine, large intestine, and final part of the large intestine, that is NS. These are digestive organs. Now there are digestive glands also, which are different from digestive organs. For example, liver is the largest gland of your human body, then gallbladder and pancreas. These all are glands. Now we have digestive organ and we have digestive organ and we are having digestive glands. So in a mouth we are having teeth, and that include the buccal cavity. So half of the part I'll make here and half of the part will be there, so that it will be easy to understand. So here we are having the mouth, buccal cavity. Buccal cavity will include the cheek cell, saliva, teeth and tongue. Then there will be the common entry of the food pipe and the windpipe. That is pharynx. Then this is a flap for the food pipe and windpipe both. The pharynx, here we are having the common flap for food and windpipe both. Pharynx is a flap which is flapped, or which is covering the part that we are not using at that time. So for example, when we are eating food and we are just using the food pipe, this flap will be over on the windpipe. But if we are talking during that, this flap will be open so that oxygen can come and we can talk. So it might happen during eating, if we talk, that food can go inside the windpipe and will start, right? So it get disturbed. And same time, so when we are talking, the food pipe will be closed, right? So pharynx is a common entry for food and windpipe both. Then oesophagus. Then next, J-shaped stomach. That opens up into intestine, U-shaped intestine, duodenum. Intestine has three parts. Small intestine has three parts: duodenum, jejunum, ileum. Duodenum, jejunum, ileum, you need to know, because here we are going to partition that where the digestion is completed and where absorption has started. So duodenum is a U-shaped part. I'm drawing it just halfway because I have to draw small intestine on a separate thing, so that we can discuss it in a very large way. Then we are having the liver. So it looks like an alarm clock here. It looks like an alarm clock on the stomach, and along with that we are having a comma shaped gallbladder. And in the folding of the last small intestine, we are having a leaf-shaped pancreas. Okay, so these three are glands which are surrounding the stomach and the small intestine. Now let's just see digestion up to here. Then we're going to draw the small and large intestine on the next page. So mouth, buccal cavity, pharynx, oesophagus. Then this is stomach. We are having digestive gland also. The starting of the small intestine, so that is duodenum. We are having it here, pancreas, gallbladder, and liver. Okay. So let's just start the process. First process in the nutrition is ingestion. So when we intake our food, the process of ingestion get completed. So when we intake a solid particle inside our body through the mouth, the ingestion is completed. So intake of food is ingestion. Now afterwards, when it reaches inside the mouth, there is a buccal cavity that contains teeth and tongue. Now why this teeth and tongue are for? Teeth is for biting and tongue is for rolling. Okay, so teeth is for biting, grinding the food, and tongue is for rolling and tasting the food and rolling the food into the moisture or saliva, so that food can be chewable and easily absorbed. So उसको saliva में रोल करने के लिए, अब saliva के अंदर क्या है, that is a very important point. Digestion is started in the mouth. Second step, digestion is started in the mouth. So here in the buccal cavity we are having saliva. Saliva contain enzymes, salivary amylase. Amylase are the enzyme or set of enzymes that digest starch. It digests starch into maltose. So एक plants जो होते हैं, plants store their sugar in the form of starch. For example, if we eat potato, if we are eating rice, if we are eating any grain, then they might have contained the starch product, because plants store their sugar in the form of starch. So much simpler form में हम उसको तोड़ रहे हैं, but not simplest. Here complete नहीं, but partial digestion will be taking place. Then food partially digested, यानी half से भी कम digested food जो है, it will be going inside this oesophagus or food pipe when the pharynx is closing the entry of windpipe. So now it is entering in oesophagus. In oesophagus there is no digestion, only the movement of the food. Only the movement of the food, and with no digestion there is a movement, peristaltic movement. There is a movement, peristaltic movement. Peristaltic movement. This peristaltic movement means food, because food is comparatively broader than the tube that is very narrow. Whenever the food is entering inside, it have to contract and have to relax. So when it relaxes, that means ये ऊपर अप हो रही है food अंदर आने के लिए, फिर ये दबाएगी अपने आप को ताकि food नीचे जा सके. So contraction and relaxation will be taking place, peristaltic movement will be taking place, but when food enters, there is no digestion in the stomach. Sorry, in the oesophagus. Now food enters into the stomach. What happens with the food in the stomach? Stomach में क्या होगा? So stomach have three things here. Stomach has three things to show. Stomach has HCl. So HCl is releasing in the stomach. HCl is 1.8 pH. Now this HCl is a strong acid that is releasing whenever it is the time of eating. Okay, so when you are not eating on a time, this HCl might have released as an involuntary movement of the smooth muscle of stomach, and it will cause acidity in your stomach, or long time fasting can cause small and bits ulcers, and then fine. There is another thing, when you're eating very much, बहुत ज़्यादा आप खा रहे हैं, तब भी आपका एसिड जो है comparatively ज़्यादा रिलीज हो जाएगा और वो प्रॉपर फूड को डिसॉल्व भी नहीं कर पाएगा. That also causes acidity. So HCl is basically releasing here to create acidic pH for activation of enzyme. And which enzyme it is activating? Pepsin. It is activating pepsin. Now pepsin is for the digestion of proteins. So inside the mouth, digestion of starch takes place, and inside a stomach, digestion of protein takes place. So, but fats digestion has not been started yet. Now, I'm not saying that complete digestion of starch and protein has been taken place. Now, there is complete digestion required. It will be taking place, but in the later parts. Now, pepsin is for the digestion of protein inside the stomach. The protein are going to be digested into simpler protein or peptides. Then HCl is creating acidic environment, also this HCl is useful for killing the bacteria that might be coming through the food. Right? At this stage, bacteria will not survive. There is also another device to prevent the entry of bacteria inside our mouth. That is lysozyme. Lysozyme can kill the bacteria inside our mouth. But how our stomach get be protected from this एक्टिव पीएच, एसिडिक पीएच HCl 1.8 पीएच है, बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग पीएच है, हमारा स्टमक की लाइनिंग पूरी खराब हो जाएगी अगर ज़्यादा ये रिलीज हुआ तो, बट स्टमक को तो हमेशा ही काम करना है. फॉर दैट, फॉर प्रिवेंशन ऑफ और फॉर प्रोटेक्शन ऑफ द लेयर ऑफ द स्टमक, देयर इज अ लेयर ऑफ म्यूकस. दिस म्यूकस लेयर is protecting the stomach from getting degraded by the HCl. Then small intestine, let's see the function of it. So now in the stomach there is a digestion of there will be a digestion in the food taking place of the starch and the protein. Now it is in the form of digestive juice. It is in the form of digestive juice entering in the small intestine. The first part of the small intestine, that is duodenum. So in the duodenum, along with this digestive juice, there are two more entries of glands, right? Pancreas, it is a composite gland. You might have seen that pancreas has released hormones, insulin and glucagon. You will see that insulin के अलावा एक और हार्मोन ये रिलीज करते हैं. Also, they are releasing the type of enzymes for the digestion of food in the stomach. So pancreas here releasing a set of enzymes for all foods. Set of enzyme for all type of foods. We are going to read it. किस तरह से pancreas release कर रही है? Pancreas release कर रही है सारी enzyme, including lipase. That will going to digest the lipids, protease that is going to digest the protein parts. It also contains nuclease that is going to digest the nucleic acid in the food, because foods are also made up of the living beings, right? Foods किससे बने हैं? प्लांट से बने, जो पहले कभी लिविंग बींग थे. इसी तरह से कुछ एनिमल प्रोडक्ट जिनसे हम फूड बनाते हैं वो भी कभी ना कभी लिविंग पार्ट थे. So it contains cells, that contains cells. If any cells is there, so nucleus will be there, nucleic acid will be there, RNA, DNA will be there. So that is also an enzyme. Nuclease is present inside for the pancreas. Then protease, lipase, nuclease, and also amylase. Amylase is for digestion of carbohydrate inside the food. Okay. Then there is a function of gallbladder and also liver. What is liver doing? Liver is doing two things. Now this liver is for secreting or forming bile juice. Formation of bile juice takes place. So formation of bile juice takes place in liver. It is stored by gallbladder. Storing of bile juice is taken place by gallbladder. Okay. सो जब प्रोटीन डायरेक्ट आप खा रहे हैं तो वो लिवर काम कर रहा है, लेकिन अगर उसको आपने स्टोर कर दिया फिर गॉल ब्लैडर से उसको लिया, तो यानी आपने थोड़े से स्टोर जो चपाती से वो लिए, तो दैट इज बाय द गॉल ब्लैडर. तो गॉल ब्लैडर बेसिकली बाइल जूस को स्टोर कर रहा है और उनको बना कौन रहा है? लिवर. लिवर का एक और काम है, इट रिलीज सम ऑफ द इमल्सिफाइंग एंजाइम्स. कुछ इमल्सिफाइंग एंजाइम भी रिलीज करते हैं लिवर. लिवर इज द लार्जेस्ट ग्लैंड, यू नो. आरबीसी का फॉर्मेशन यहीं पे होता है, आरबीसी का ग्रेवयार्ड भी यही है. उन्हीं आरबीसी के ग्रेवयार्ड से जो प्रोडक्ट निकलते हैं उसी से मोबाइल बनाते हैं, वो फैट को डाइजेस्ट भी करते हैं. सो बहुत सी चीज़ें लिवर के अंदर होती हैं. लिवर, स्प्लीन, दे आल्सो साइट फॉर इम्यून सेल्स डेवलपमेंट. सो बेसिकली लिवर इज द लार्जेस्ट ग्लैंड. तो लिवर आप यहाँ पर भी दो काम कर रहा है, वो इमल्सिफाइंग एंजाइम्स भी भेज रहा है. अब इमल्सिफाइंग क्या है? कई बार एक टर्म आती है इमल्सिफिकेशन. नाउ व्हाट इज इमल्सिफिकेशन? इमल्सिफिकेशन इज अ प्रोसेस फॉर breaking down the larger fat globule into smaller fat globules. So emulsification taking place here. Now what I am saying is that in the duodenum, the first part of the intestine, digestive juice along with the pancreatic juice and bile juice is entering. बाइल जूस किसके काम आता है यहाँ पे, क्योंकि अभी मैंने आपको बताया डाइजेस्टिव जूस इज हैविंग द partial digested food and some acidic condition, and pancreatic juice having many enzymes or all type of enzyme for digesting the nutrition in the food. Now bile juice, it creates basic pH for activation of the enzymes that are of pancreatic and small intestinal enzyme. देखिए पैंक्रियास के पास भी अपनी एंजाइम है जो वो पैंक्रियाटिक जूस में भेज रहा है, इंटेस्टाइन के पास भी अपनी एंजाइम है, बट ये दोनों एंजाइम सिर्फ बेसिक मीडियम में काम कर सकती है और उसके लिए है बाइल जूस. सो तीनों चीज़ें एंटर होती हैं किसमें, इंटेस्टाइन, स्मॉल इंटेस्टाइन में, ड्यूडेनम में. लेट्स जस्ट गो टू द स्मॉल इंटेस्टाइन नाउ. So digestion is taking place here. First process digestion completed. Digestion has started from the mouth until small intestine. It is here. अब ये चल ही रही है. So ingestion तो हो चुका है, but digestion अभी तक चल रहा है. Now let's just see to the part that we called as digestion in the small intestine. If we see. So if we see digestion in the small intestine, let's go. So मेन से start करते हैं कि ये जो small intestine का first part था duodenum. Along with that we know that it is a very coiled, very long but narrow structure, and that is connected to the large intestine which is having two ends. I'm not making that, I'm making just a rough diagram. Okay, not so there is a difference between large and small intestine. In small intestine digestion takes place, absorption takes place, but in large intestine there is no digestion. Just like oesophagus, there is no digestion, but there is absorption of water takes place. And small intestine is narrow and long, large intestine is wider and small. So first part of small intestine, that is duodenum. It is starting from the bean shaped, or you can say the J shaped stomach, and you already know that there are many other entries also there. That is the first entry is of bile juice, liver. Along with that, liver is also releasing bile juice, and you know that gallbladder is storing the bile juice and releasing into the duodenum. duodenum में ही वो जो है उसको release कर रहे हैं. Then you know that there is in the fold of this U-shaped duodenum, there is a leaf-shaped pancreas that are releasing pancreatic juice. No need to explain it again, I guess. So now digestion is taking place in this coiled part of the small intestine. This coiled part of the small intestine digestion, the first part, in the first part digestion is completed. तो जो पहली ही पार्ट है जो हम कहते हैं ना ड्यूडेनम, उसी में डाइजेशन जो है वो कंप्लीट हो जाता है. Now this part exits into the large intestine, but it cannot enter before the third process, absorption. So in a small intestine there is some modifications for absorption also. So digestion is completed in the small intestine first and second half part, that is jejunum. So duodenum and jejunum is devoted for the digestion. Now ileum, the last part, ileum is for the absorption. What it contains, what is actually present in the small intestinal wall. So small intestinal wall को अगर हम broad करके देखें तो हमें पता चलेगा कि इसकी जो walls हैं उसमें कुछ finger shaped cells, finger like projections present हैं. Now these finger like projections, what are they for? What are these things? These are villi. So in the ileum there are villi or finger-like projections are present. These finger-like projections are surrounded with blood capillaries from inside. Now, what are their features? Number one, their finger-like projection. Number 2, they're surrounded by blood capillaries. From inside, because they have finger-like projection, they are increasing the surface area for absorption of nutrition. So here, whatever the nutrition from the simpler particle we get, it is absorbed in the walls of the intestine. So if the food have to travel from A to B, this is the region, that will be a smaller path, and the intestine will get a very small time to absorb the nutrition from the food particle. और सभी का सभी कहाँ चला जाता था? अनडाइजेस्टेड वेस्ट में. बट यहाँ पे फूड को कैसे कितना सारा डिस्टेंस ट्रैवल करना पड़ेगा? बहुत सारा. Okay, and in the meantime the intestinal wall get much time to absorb the nutrition. Then surrounded by blood capillaries, so all the nutrition will directly go to the blood capillaries, and they also have some brush borders to direct the movement of the food along the walls of the intestine. ये ब्रश बॉर्डर में इनमें होते हैं, इसमें छोटी छोटी विलाइज यानी माइक्रो विलाइज भी होती हैं. सो दिस इज द फीचर ऑफ द इंटेस्टाइन. सो हाउ द इंटेस्टाइन, स्मॉल इंटेस्टाइन इज डिजाइंड फॉर, how the small intestine is designed for the absorption is this, by the villi structure. Then after absorption, the third part, absorption is also completed. Absorption is completed. Then when the food get completely digested and absorbed in the blood capillaries, where will it go? It will go through the blood capillaries to the heart, and heart will pump the blood to all the organs and all the cells. Now inside the cells, that nutrition will be used to produce the energy by respiration, and the cells will form their own protein, own carbohydrate, own fats by using those simpler molecules. This is assimilation. So what is assimilation? Assimilation includes converting the simpler particle into complex particle. Okay, so हम प्लांट और एनिमल प्रोटीन से अपना प्रोटीन, अपना कार्बोहाइड्रेट और अपना फैट्स बना लेते हैं. दिस इज एसिमिलेशन. नाउ लेट्स कम टू द डाइजेस्टिव सिस्टम अगेन. So after absorption, whatever the nutrition or undigested waste left, that will go into the large intestine. Now large intestine, no digestion will be taking place, but only the moisture absorption will take place. Now after the absorption of moisture, the crude undigested waste that is left will be stored into the last part of the large intestine, that is your rectum. After storage that gets full in the rectum, it will be released, or we can say ejected. Okay, that is the fifth part. It gets ejected through anus. Before anus, rectum, where it is get stored, and then anus, through which the fecal material, the solid undigested waste, is released. This is egestion. Sometimes we used to confuse with excretion, but actually excretion means removal of toxic waste from your body that is needed to release in the form of urine, right? And undigested waste is released in the form of fecal material, that is egestion. Now there is one more thing that I need to tell is, there is in the other side of the large intestine, there is a structure called as appendix. So egestion is complete, all the process of digestion is complete, only the part that is left is appendix. Now this vermiform appendix is now basically there are sphincters, so that whenever the food get enters, it have to go to the right path, सही path में जाए. लेकिन जब आप खाना खा रहे हैं, sometimes what happens, that food going to in another direction, it goes inside the appendix. जाना कहीं और होता है, स्मॉल इंटेस्टाइन से पहुंच जाता है अपेंडिक्स में. अपेंडिक्स में किसी भी तरह की डाइजेशन नहीं होती और ना ही वहाँ से कोई रिमूवल हो सकता, तो खाना वहाँ पर फंस जाएगा और फिर दर्द होगा, एंड देन द अपेंडिक्स शुड बी रिमूव्ड. इट इज कॉल्ड एज वर्मीफॉर्म अपेंडिक्स. इट इज अ वेस्टिजियल ऑर्गन. वेस्टिजियल का मतलब एन ऑर्गन विच इज इन once was in use but now it is of no use because of disuse. क्योंकि अब इसका इस्तेमाल नहीं किया जा रहा है, तो ये छोटा हो गया और इसका कोई इस्तेमाल नहीं रहा, लेकिन हमारे एंसेस्टर इसका इस्तेमाल करते थे. फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर हम आदि मानव की बात करें, तो वो कच्चा खाना खाते थे, तो कच्चा खाना खाते थे तो उनको सेल्यूलोज डाइजेस्ट हो जाता होगा, लेकिन हम लोग पका हुआ उबला हुआ खाना खा रहे हैं। इसका मतलब हमें सेल्यूलोज डाइजेस्ट अब शायद ना हो, क्योंकि हमने तो अब डाइजेस्ट करना सोचते भी नहीं है हम कच्चा कुछ भी खाने का। हम तो हर चीज़ को पका के, हर चीज़ में नमक मिर्च डाल के, उसको पका के, उसको उबाल के खाते हैं। सो हमारी बॉडी के अंदर जो भी कुछ एडाप्टेशंस थी उसका कोई इस्तेमाल नहीं रहा, धीरे धीरे उसका फंक्शनैलिटी खत्म हो गई। Now why, how we are digesting that? We are having some cellulitic bacteria, हमारे वहाँ पर सेलुलोज को तोड़ने वाले, डाइजेस्ट करने वाले बैक्टीरिया थे अपेंडिक्स में, और अब उनका यूज़ नहीं है, इसलिए उनकी तादाद कम हो गई है, इसलिए हम उसे डाइजेस्ट नहीं कर पाते। तो अगर गलती से खाना वहाँ चला जाता है और फंस जाता है तो उसमें दर्द होता है, अपेंडिसाइटिस और ऐसी कोई चीज़ें हो जाती हैं, तो उसको रिमूव करा जाता है। फिर बाद में आप सिर्फ उबला हुआ खाना खा सकते हो, क्योंकि उसको डाइजेस्ट करने वाला ऑर्गन रहा नहीं। तो that is about the appendix. Now that's all about digestion, and next class we are going to do respiration. Okay.